Alien puppies trapped and about to die won. Human braved everything to rescue them. The human stepped off the spaceship, his boots sinking slightly into the soft, strange soil of the alien planet. He looked around and saw tall, twisted trees with glowing leaves that shimmered under a pale blue sky. The air smelled different, sweet but sharp at the same time. He tightened his grip on his small backpack, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. He had come to explore, to see worlds humans had never seen. But what he found immediately made his heart race. In the distance, he heard high-pitched cries, soft but urgent. They sounded like tiny voices calling for help. He turned toward the noise and began walking carefully, stepping over glowing rocks and strange plants that moved slightly as if alive. As he approached, the cries grew louder, more desperate. Soon he saw them, small alien creatures like puppies, but unlike anything he had ever seen. Their skin shimmered with faint silver patterns. Their eyes were large and glowing, and their tiny tails wagged, but their bodies were tied with thin ropes. Their small cages were lined up near a large fire, flames licking the sides of the cages. And the human froze, his heart pounding. Villagers were moving around. Strange tall beings with rough skin and sharp eyes. They carried long sticks with sharp ends, and they laughed in a deep, strange voice. The human realized with horror that the villagers were preparing to cook the alien puppies. He could not believe what he was seeing. The puppies whimpered, tried to escape, but the ropes held them tight. The human's mind raced. What could he do? If he tried to save them, he could be caught, maybe hurt badly. But if he did nothing, the puppies would die. He took a deep breath, his hands shaking, and stepped closer, trying not to be seen. One of the puppies looked at him with big, pleading eyes. Its small body trembled as if it knew he was there to help. The human's heart ached. He remembered stories of humans saving animals, and he knew he could not walk away this time. He looked around quickly, searching for a plan. The villagers were busy with their work, giving him a tiny window of chance. He moved quietly, bending low, and reached for the first cage. The ropes were thick, but his hands were strong and careful. He tried to untie them quickly, his fingers fumbling. The puppy yipped softly, as if encouraging him. Suddenly, a villager turned. Noticing movement, the human froze. His breath caught, he was spotted, and for a moment, he thought it was over. But then, something unexpected happened. The puppy inside the cage leapt and bit the villager's ankle, causing him to shout in pain. Other villagers turned, confused, and the human used this chance to pull the cage open. He grabbed the small puppy, feeling its warm body against his chest. It looked up at him, eyes wide with trust and fear. He could hear shouting now. The villagers running toward him, their sticks raised, their voices loud and threatening. The human ran, his legs moving faster than he thought possible. He dodged obstacles, leaped over glowing rocks, and ducked under low branches. The puppy clutched him, yipping softly. He felt a rush of fear, but also a strange courage. As he ran, he saw more cages, more puppies tied and waiting. His heart sank, but he could not stop. He decided he would try to save them all, even if it meant risking his life. The cries of the puppies grew louder, calling to him, urging him forward. He reached another cage, untied it carefully, and lifted another puppy. Its small body was trembling, but it did not fight. It seemed to trust him already. He looked back, seeing the villagers getting closer, their faces angry, their eyes sharp. He felt the heat of the fire near him, the smoke stinging his nose. He ran through narrow paths, dodging glowing vines that tried to touch him. The puppies yipped and whined, but he kept moving. His mind was sharp, thinking of a safe place. A cave? A river? Somewhere they could hide? He did not know yet, but he could not stop. Not now, not when the puppies needed him. Suddenly, one of the puppies slipped from his grasp, rolling on the ground. He bent quickly and scooped it up, feeling its tiny heart beating fast. He whispered softly, "I will save you, I promise." The words felt strange in the alien air, but the puppies seemed to understand. They quieted slightly, trusting him completely. Behind him, the villagers were shouting, their steps heavy, their anger echoing across the strange forest. The human knew he had only moments. He had to find safety. He had to protect the alien puppies, no matter what. He tightened his grip, ran faster, and disappeared into the glowing forest. The cries of the puppies mingling with the alien wind. The human did not know what awaited him, what dangers he would face next, but he knew one thing. He had begun a journey, a dangerous journey, to save the innocent. He had become a hero, even if he did not realize it yet. The forest swallowed him and the puppies, and the adventure was only just beginning. The human ran deeper into the glowing forest. The alien puppies clutched tightly against his chest, their tiny bodies shivering. But their trust in him was clear. The wind whispered through the strange trees, carrying the angry shouts of the villagers behind him. He could hear their heavy footsteps pounding the soil, their voices growing louder with every second. He ducked under a low branch, feeling a sharp sting on his shoulder, but he ignored it. His eyes scanned the forest, searching for a place to hide, something safe, somewhere the villagers could not reach him. The forest seemed alive, twisting and shifting as if it sensed the danger. Vines moved slightly, glowing faintly, and shadows danced around him. The human's heart raced, but he forced himself to stay calm. He knew panic could cost him his life, and the puppies' lives too. He counted silently, planning his next move. The first puppy whimpered, nuzzling his neck, reminding him why he was risking everything. He whispered, "Hold on. I will protect you. Just a little longer." Suddenly, a branch cracked sharply behind him, and he froze. The villagers were closer than he thought. A tall figure stepped into the glowing light, carrying a spear tipped with a shining crystal. Its eyes were sharp, filled with anger. The human knew he could not outrun this one. He had to fight, but he had no weapon. Only his courage and his wits. He ducked behind a massive, glowing rock, hiding the puppies. Holding his breath, he waited as the villager searched, its head turning slowly. Sniffing the air as if it could smell his fear, the human felt the sweat running down his face. His mind raced, thinking of every escape route. Every plan seemed impossible, but he could not give up. Then, unexpectedly, one of the puppies wriggled free and ran forward, barking softly. Its tiny glowing body distracted the villager, who lunged toward it angrily. The human took the chance, sprinting forward, dodging low-hanging vines that tried to grab his arms. He grabbed the puppy that had escaped and ran, its little legs kicking frantically. Another villager appeared, taller and faster, blocking the human's path. The human stumbled backward, the puppies yipping in his arms. The ground beneath him shook as if something enormous was moving nearby. A strange rumble echoed through the forest, making the human freeze. The villagers noticed it too, their anger turning into fear. From the shadows, a massive alien creature emerged, towering above the villagers. Its skin shimmered with patterns similar to the puppies, and its eyes glowed bright blue. It roared, a deep, vibrating sound that shook the trees. The human realized this creature was a guardian of the puppies, but he could not be sure if it would help him or attack him. The villagers hesitated, unsure what to do, and the human seized the moment. He ran as fast as he could, dodging falling branches and glowing vines. The puppies in his arms made soft, nervous sounds, but he encouraged them. "We are almost safe. Keep moving. Don't stop now." He reached a narrow path between two cliffs, barely wide enough for him to pass. The villagers were closing in, their shouts echoing. One of them swung a long spear at him. He ducked just in time, the spear grazing his shoulder, sharp pain shooting through his arm. But he could not stop. The puppies' lives depended on him. Suddenly, a small alien creature, almost invisible in the shadows, darted in front of him, biting the ankle of one villager, causing them to stumble. The human saw this and smiled briefly, feeling a small hope. The creatures of the forest were helping him. The puppies seemed to sense it too, their small bodies glowing faintly as if powered by the guardian nearby. The human reached a stream of glowing water, flowing fast but shallow. He waded in, the current helping to slow down the villagers behind him. He placed the puppies gently on a rock in the middle of the stream. Their little feet splashing in the water, they looked up at him, trusting yet frightened, and he whispered, "Just a little farther. Hold on, I will protect you." The guardian creature appeared beside him, letting out a low growl. The villagers stopped at the edge of the stream, wary of crossing into the glowing water with the massive guardian watching them. The human realized he had bought himself time, maybe even safety, but he could not relax yet. The villagers would not give up easily, and the forest held more dangers than he could see. He glanced at the puppies, their tiny eyes wide, glowing. Softly, he felt a strange connection with them, stronger than he expected. He realized these creatures were special, more than just helpless puppies. They had a power, a magic maybe, that even he could feel. The villager's anger was still close. But the human knew he had a chance now. A slim chance, but enough to keep fighting. The forest around them shimmered and shifted, the glowing plants moving as if alive. The human hugged the puppies close, ready to move again. The adventure had just begun, and the risk was far from over. But for the first time, he felt hope, courage, and determination, and he whispered softly, "I will not let anything happen to you, I promise." The human ran through the glowing forest, his heart pounding. The alien puppies clutched tightly in his arms. Behind him, the villagers' angry shouts grew louder, echoing like thunder through the strange trees. He could see the edge of the forest ahead, and beyond it, the alien village stretched out like a maze of glowing structures. He knew he had no choice but to run straight into it. The village was alive with movement. Strange creatures moving on rooftops and through narrow streets. The buildings were made of glowing metal and crystal. Twisting high into the sky, the human ducked behind a low wall, trying to hide the puppies from view. But the villagers were fast, faster than he expected, their eyes glinting in the glow of the alien fires. Their weapons ready, he glanced around, searching for an escape route, but every path seemed blocked. Narrow alleys twisted like mazes, strange bridges connected tall buildings, and the villagers moved through them easily, cutting off his escape. The human knew he had to think fast, or they would catch him, and the puppies would be lost. Suddenly, a small glowing creature darted from the shadows, nipping at the ankle of a villager, causing them to stumble. The human saw his chance, sprinting forward as fast as his legs could carry him. The puppies yipped in his arms, their glowing eyes shining brightly, as if encouraging him to keep moving. He leapt over a low bridge, landing hard on the other side, stumbling but holding the puppies tightly. The villagers were close behind, their shouts turning into angry roars. One of them swung a spear, and the human ducked just in time, feeling the air brush past his head. The narrow streets twisted, and he almost ran into a glowing barrier of energy. It pulsed strangely, but he realized it was not dangerous, just part of the alien village's defenses. He squeezed through, feeling the puppies squirm slightly in his arms. As he ran, he noticed strange shapes moving on the rooftops, shadows that seemed to watch him, but not attack. He realized they were other villagers, hidden but curious. Maybe some were unsure if harming him was right. The human's mind raced, thinking of a plan. Every corner he turned, the villagers were there, blocking his path, pushing him back toward danger. Then, from the far end of the village, a massive alien beast appeared, its glowing eyes fixed on him. The ground trembled with each step, and the human froze for a moment. Unsure what it would do, the beast roared, a sound so loud it echoed through the entire village. The villagers hesitated, unsure how to deal with it, and that hesitation gave the human a small advantage. He ran faster than ever, dodging glowing poles and strange alien devices that shot faint beams of light. The puppies yipped nervously, and one tried to wiggle free, but he held them tight, whispering softly, "We are almost safe. Don't worry." The human realized that if he could reach the river at the edge of the village, he might have a chance to escape completely. The path was blocked by a group of villagers, their faces twisted in anger, their weapons raised, ready to strike. The human's mind searched desperately for a way past them. Then he saw a pile of glowing crates stacked high, forming a narrow gap. He could climb over, but it would be risky. If he fell, he might drop the puppies or get caught. Taking a deep breath, he ran toward the crates, jumping and climbing. As fast as he could, the puppies yipped in alarm, but he held them close, one arm around each. His feet slipped on the glowing surface, but he managed to pull himself up. The villagers shouted below, but they could not reach him. He leapt to the next stack, heart pounding, the glow of the village reflecting in his eyes. Suddenly, one of the puppies squirmed and fell slightly, and he grabbed it just in time. Feeling the tiny heartbeat against his chest, he realized how fragile they were, and how dangerous this mission had become. But he could not stop, not now. The villagers were regaining their courage, moving quickly to follow him. From above, another shadow appeared, a creature unlike the villagers. Its skin shimmered like liquid metal, and it moved silently, almost like it was floating. The human did not know if it was friend or foe, but it seemed to block some of the villagers' paths, giving him a small advantage. He ran through a narrow alley, the glowing walls brushing past his arms. Feeling the puppies squirm again, the alley opened into a wide plaza, and the human froze, the sight shocking him. The villagers were everywhere, surrounding him. But the plaza also held strange alien devices, glowing and pulsing with energy. He realized he could use them to distract the villagers, maybe even escape. He picked up a small glowing orb from the ground and threw it toward the far end of the plaza. It exploded in a flash of light, blinding the villagers for a moment. Ran, using the chaos to his advantage. Dodging and weaving through the plaza, the puppies clutched tightly. The massive alien beast followed, but it seemed to ignore him, focusing on the villagers instead. The human did not understand, but he did not question it. He had a chance. A small one, but it was enough. As he reached the far edge of the plaza, he saw the glowing river, its waters shimmering under the alien moon. His heart leapt, hope filling him. If he could reach the river, he could escape the village. He sprinted the last few steps, the villagers shouting and running behind him. He jumped into the shallow river, feeling the cold water splash around him. The puppies yipped, but he held them above the water, keeping them safe. The current carried him downstream, away from the village, away from the danger. He looked back, seeing the glowing lights of the village fading behind him. The massive beast stood at the edge, watching the villagers hesitate, and the human realized something strange. Maybe the forest and its creatures were helping him. Maybe he was not alone in this fight. He hugged the puppies close, whispering softly, "We made it." For now, but he knew this was only the beginning. The villagers would not give up. The dangers of the alien world were far from over, and the next part of his journey promised even greater challenges. The human floated downstream in the glowing river. The alien puppies clutched tightly against his chest, their tiny bodies trembling, but their eyes shining with trust. The water sparkled under the alien moon, illuminating strange plants that swayed as if alive. Shadows of flying creatures flickered above him, their glowing wings painting streaks of light across the water. He knew he had to find a safe place, somewhere the villagers could not follow, somewhere the puppies could rest and hide. The forest along the riverbank was thick and strange. Glowing vines twisting around twisted trees. Some branches stretched down to the water, forming natural bridges and hiding spots. The human's heart pounded, every sound of the forest making him alert. Suddenly, the river narrowed, rushing faster between jagged rocks. The current threatened to sweep him away, but he held the puppies tightly. Maneuvering carefully, his eyes caught a faint glow ahead, coming from a small cave hidden behind a waterfall. He realized immediately that this could be the sanctuary. He needed the place to hide. The waterfall roared, the water shimmering like liquid crystals, and the human waded toward it, careful not to slip on the slick stones. As he approached, he noticed strange carvings on the rocks around the entrance. Alien symbols glowing faintly, pulsing in rhythm with the river. The puppies whined softly, sensing something unusual, and the human whispered, "It's okay. This place is safe, I promise." He stepped behind the waterfall, the water drenching him, but providing perfect cover. The cave entrance was narrow, but inside it widened into a spacious chamber. The walls glowed faintly with alien crystals, casting soft light across the damp stone. The air smelled earthy but clean, and the human felt a strange sense of calm, as if the cave itself was alive. The puppies explored the cave nervously, their little paws making soft sounds on the stone floor. They found a small pool of water, glowing faintly like the river outside, and drank eagerly, their tiny tails wagging slightly, and the human smiled, relieved. He finally had a moment to rest, but he knew it could not last. The villagers were still out there, and they would not give up easily. Suddenly, a soft humming filled the cave, low and melodic. The human froze, unsure where it was coming from. The puppy's eyes widened, and they huddled close to him. The sound seemed to come from the crystals embedded in the walls, pulsating. With light, the human realized the cave was not just a hiding place. It was special, alive, and maybe even protective. He moved deeper into the cave, discovering tunnels branching off in different directions. Some led to dead ends, while others seemed to descend deeper underground. The human felt a strange pull, as if the cave was guiding him. He followed instinctively, keeping the puppies close, their small bodies glowing faintly in the crystal light. Then he noticed something incredible. The puppies' glow intensified, casting patterns on the walls, forming shapes that seemed almost like letters or symbols. The human's mind raced, realizing these were not ordinary creatures. They had some kind of hidden power, something the villagers feared, and maybe something that could change the fate of this alien world. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the cave, dust falling from the ceiling. The human froze, listening carefully. He could hear the distant sound of villagers shouting. Still searching, but something else moved too. Something large, moving silently in the shadows. He hugged the puppies close, feeling their small bodies shiver, and whispered, "It's okay. I won't let anything hurt you." From the far end of the cave, a glowing shape emerged, tall and elegant, its body shimmering like liquid light. The human's breath caught. Unsure if it was friend or foe, the figure moved gracefully, observing him and the puppies, its eyes glowing softly. The puppies reacted immediately, glowing even brighter, wagging their tiny tails. As if recognizing the being, the alien figure spoke, a soft voice that echoed in the crystal chamber. "You should not be here, human, but you mean no harm, I see." "It in your heart," the human swallowed, trying to understand. Who are you?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. The figure extended a hand, and the puppies scurried toward it without fear. "I am the guardian of this sanctuary, and you have proven your courage," it said. The human felt a mix of awe and relief, knowing he had found an ally in this strange world. But he also knew the villagers would not stop searching. They would not give up until they had the puppies. He glanced at the small glowing creatures, their trust in him unwavering, and he realized the journey ahead would be even more dangerous. The guardian moved closer, its glowing hand brushing the walls, causing the crystals to pulse brighter. The human noticed strange patterns forming, symbols of protection and power. The cave itself seemed alive, responding to the presence of the puppies and their hidden energy. He understood that this sanctuary was more than just a hiding place. It was a safe haven, but also a place of power. A place that could turn the tide against the villagers. For the first time since the chase began, the human felt hope, a spark of courage that burned brighter than fear. He hugged the puppies close, whispering, "We made it." But the real challenge is just beginning. Outside the cave, the wind howled through the alien forest, the villagers' shouts faint but persistent, and the human knew that the sanctuary would not protect them forever. The journey ahead promised danger, mystery, and challenges beyond imagination. But for now, the puppies were safe, the cave was theirs. And the human had discovered that courage, hope, and trust could create even the strongest sanctuary. He looked at the glowing walls, the puppy's eyes reflecting in the crystals, and whispered softly, "We are ready." For whatever comes next, the humans sat in the glowing cave, holding the alien puppies close, their tiny bodies trembling but trusting him completely. Outside, the wind carried distant shouts from the villagers, but inside, the cave was calm. Except for the faint hum of crystals and the soft dripping of water from the stalactites above, he looked at the puppies, their eyes wide and glowing, and whispered softly, "We are safe." For now, suddenly, a shadow flickered at the cave entrance, and the human froze. His heart raced, thinking it might be the villagers finally discovering the sanctuary. He held the puppies tighter, ready to protect them at all costs. But the figure that stepped into the cave was not like the villagers. Its body was sleek, alien, glowing faintly, and its eyes held a curious warmth. Not anger, the figure raised its hand slowly, showing it meant no harm. "I can help you," it said, its voice soft but clear. "I know what they plan, and I do not agree with it." The human blinked, unsure if he could trust this unknown being. "Why would you help me?" he asked cautiously, his voice tense. The figure smiled faintly. "Because the puppies are more than they seem, and your courage shows you are different from the others." The human's mind raced, trying to process this unexpected ally. He had been running for hours, fighting fear, and now a stranger offered help. Could he trust them? But the puppies squirmed in his arms, almost as if sensing the figure's presence was safe. He nodded slowly. "All right. Help us then." The ally led him deeper into the cave, through tunnels the human had not discovered before. The walls glowed brighter here, crystals pulsing rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. The puppies' glow intensified as they moved, reflecting patterns on the walls, strange symbols that seemed to tell a story. "These puppies," the ally said, "are descendants of the original guardians of this world. They hold a power the villagers fear, a power that could change everything." The human felt awe and responsibility at the words. He understood that saving the puppies was no longer just about survival, but about protecting something sacred. He tightened his grip, whispering, "Then we will protect them, no matter what." Suddenly the cave trembled violently, dust and small stones falling from above. The human stumbled, holding the puppies close. "What is happening?" he asked urgently. The ally's eyes widened. "The villagers are near, and they are angry. They sense the puppy's power, and they will stop at nothing." The human felt a surge of fear, but also determination. He had come this far, risked everything, and now he could not turn back. The ally guided him to a hidden chamber deep within the cave, a place protected by crystal barriers that glowed fiercely as they entered. "Here, the puppies will be safe, at least for a while," the ally said. And the human felt a moment of relief, but just as he placed the puppies down gently, a loud crash echoed from the tunnel behind them. The villagers had discovered another entrance, their angry shouts bouncing off the cave walls. The humans. Pulse quickened. He knew this was not just a chase anymore. This was a battle for the puppy's survival. The ally stepped forward, raising its hands, and the crystals along the walls pulsed brighter, creating a shimmering shield around the chamber. The human's eyes widened, amazed at the power. The puppy's glow intensified too, and together they formed a protective barrier stronger than he had imagined. Still, the villagers were relentless, their shouts growing louder, and one of them threw a spear toward the chamber, it striking the crystal barrier and bouncing off harmlessly. The human felt a mixture of fear and hope, realizing that with this ally they had a chance, but the danger was far from over. Then one of the puppies wriggled free and ran toward the barrier, glowing brighter than ever. Its small bark seemed to echo like a warning, and the human realized the puppies were starting to understand their own power. They are stronger than we. Thought, the ally said softly, watching them closely, and they will grow even stronger with your protection. The human took a deep breath. Holding the remaining puppies close, he looked at the ally, eyes filled with gratitude and determination. Then we fight together. We protect them, no matter what. The ally nodded, its glowing body radiating confidence, and the human felt a surge of courage. Stronger than fear outside, the villagers paused, sensing the energy inside the chamber. Their eyes widened in fear and confusion. They had underestimated the human and the puppies, and now they faced something far beyond their understanding. The human whispered to the puppies, "Stay close. We are not alone, and we will not let them take you." The puppies yipped softly, their glow pulsing in agreement. And the human realized that with this unexpected ally, the journey ahead, though dangerous, held hope, courage, and the promise of something greater than survival. They had found a partner in the alien world, and together they would face whatever came next. The human crouched in the hidden chamber, the alien puppies glowing softly in his arms, their small bodies pressed against his chest, trembling with both fear and trust. The ally stood beside him, its glowing body casting moving shadows on the crystal walls. Outside, the distant sounds of the villagers grew louder, their shouts mixed with the rumble of the glowing forest. The human knew the time had come. They could not hide forever, and the villagers would not leave until the puppies were captured. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility heavier than ever. Each puppy's tiny heartbeat seemed to echo in his mind, reminding him that he could not fail. Suddenly, a loud roar shook the cave, making crystals vibrate. Dust fell from the ceiling as a massive figure emerged from the shadows. The human's eyes widened in fear. He had never seen anything so enormous. Its skin shimmered like liquid metal, muscles moving with terrifying power, and its eyes glowed deep blue. The puppies whimpered, pressing closer to him. Sensing the danger, the ally stepped forward, raising its hands. The crystals along the walls pulsing fiercely, forming protective shields. But the massive guardian did not attack them. Instead, it moved to block the villagers from entering, its growls vibrating through the chamber, warning them to stay back. The human realized the guardian was testing him, testing if he was truly worthy of protecting the puppies. The villagers hesitated, angry and confused. They had expected an easy victory, but now they faced a force beyond their understanding. The human clenched his fists, his mind racing. He had no weapons, no plan except courage and quick thinking. He had to face this ultimate test, or lose everything he had fought for. The guardian stepped closer, its massive head lowering to the human's level. The air around it shimmered, heavy with power. Its deep voice resonated in his mind. "Prove your worth, human. Protect what is innocent. Face the challenge without fear." The human's heart pounded. He could feel the weight of the challenge, but he also felt a surge of determination. He stepped forward slowly, holding the puppies close, his eyes locked on the guardian, and he whispered softly, "I will protect them, no matter what. I will not let anything happen to them." The puppies yipped softly, as if agreeing, their glow intensifying. The ally nodded, moving to stand beside him, ready to assist. Suddenly, the villagers surged forward, breaking through the barrier at 1 week. Point, weapons raised, ready to strike. The human felt a wave of fear, but he did not falter. He ran toward the villagers, not to fight, but to protect the puppies. Using his body to block their attacks, he moved with speed and precision, dodging spears and sharp sticks. One of the puppies wriggled free and glowed intensely, its light forming a protective aura around them. The villagers shouted in fear, backing away. The human realized the puppy's power was growing, fueled by his courage and their trust. Together, they formed a shield stronger than any weapon. The massive guardian moved closer, observing, and the human understood it was not an enemy, but a guide, teaching him how to harness courage and strategy against impossible odds. He took a deep breath, and with a sudden burst of speed, he dodged a spear, twisted, and used the villager's own momentum to throw him backward. Another villager lunged, but the puppy's glow flared again. Blinding them temporarily, the human moved quickly, grabbing the puppies and rolling to safety. Each move was precise, calculated, and fearless. He realized that courage was not just about fighting, but thinking fast, trusting the puppies, and trusting the ally. The villagers, exhausted and confused, tried to regroup, but the guardian's presence kept them at bay, its massive form moving between them and the human. The human hugged the puppies tightly, whispering, "We can do this. Stay close. Don't be afraid." Their glow grew even stronger, casting patterns on the crystal walls, almost like a shield made of light. Then, one of the puppies barked loudly, and the glow expanded, forming a dome of protective energy that pushed back the villagers. They stumbled, shouting in fear and anger, realizing they could not win against this power. The human smiled briefly, feeling a surge of hope, but he knew this was not the end. The ultimate test was about more than strength. It was about courage, trust, and sacrifice. The guardian lowered its massive head, its eyes glowing softly, and spoke again. "You have shown courage, human. You have faced fear, protected the innocent, and trusted in what is greater than yourself. You are worthy." The human felt a wave of relief, but he also knew the danger was still near. The villagers were angry, and the puppy's power was not fully understood. He hugged them tightly, whispering softly, "We made it." For now, but the journey is not over. The ally stood beside him, nodding. "You have passed the ultimate test, but the real challenge will come soon. The world outside this cave is changing, and you will need all your courage to face it." The human looked at the glowing puppies, their small eyes full of trust and courage, and realized he had grown stronger too. Fear no longer controlled him. Determination and hope filled his heart. The villagers might return. The dangers of the alien world were far from over, but together they had proven that courage, trust, and unity could overcome even the most impossible test. The human stood at the edge of the glowing river. The alien puppies pressed tightly against his chest, their small bodies still trembling, but their eyes bright with trust and relief. Behind him, the alien village glowed faintly under the moonlight, quiet for the moment, as if the forest itself held its breath. He looked at the puppies, whispering softly, "We made it. We are safe." But the human knew this was only temporary. The villagers would not give up so easily. They would return, their anger and fear fueled by the unknown power of the puppies. He scanned the glowing trees and twisted paths, planning. The next move, the ally moved beside him, its glowing body casting soft light across the river. "There is more at stake than you realize," it said, its voice calm but serious. The human's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" he asked, tightening his hold on the puppies. The ally gestured toward the river, where the water glowed faintly, and shadows moved beneath the surface. The puppy's power is awakening. It spreads beyond this cave, touching the land and the beings around it. Some will be drawn to it, some will fear it, and some will want to protect it. The human felt awe and fear mix in his chest. He understood that their journey was far from over, but the stakes were even greater than he imagined. Suddenly, from the forest edge, a group of villagers appeared, their faces twisted with anger and confusion. They had returned, more determined than before, and carrying strange glowing weapons. The human tightened his grip on the puppies, ready to run, but then something unexpected happened. The puppies' glow expanded, forming a soft shield around them, and the villagers froze, their eyes wide with fear. One of the puppies barked, a small but powerful sound, and the glow spread further, illuminating patterns in the trees and the river. The humans realized that the puppies were not ordinary creatures, but something sacred, something powerful. The ally stepped forward, raising its hands, causing the crystals along the riverbank to glow brighter. The villagers stumbled back, unsure how to face the combined power of the puppies and the glowing being. The human felt a surge of hope, knowing that courage, trust, and unity could indeed protect them. He whispered softly to the puppies, "You are safe now. We did it together." Suddenly, the largest puppy stepped forward, its glow brighter than the rest, and barked loudly. The sound seemed to resonate with the forest, the river, and even the mountains beyond. A low rumble shook the ground, and the villagers looked around in fear. Sensing forces they could not control, the human felt the power of the puppies, their energy mingling with his own courage, forming an invisible shield that even the villagers could not penetrate. One of the villagers finally spoke, his voice trembling. "They are protected. We cannot touch them." The human nodded, understanding that fear had finally stopped the threat. But even as relief washed over him, he knew this was only the beginning of a new world, where humans and these creatures could coexist. If courage and kindness guided them, the puppy's glow began to soften, no longer a shield, but a gentle light, and they nuzzled the human, showing their trust and gratitude. He smiled, hugging them tightly. Feeling their warmth and life, their small tails wagged, and the ally stepped closer, its glow mingling with theirs, forming a beautiful light that spread across the river and the forest. The human realized something incredible. The puppy's power was not just protection. It was connection, binding creatures, forests, and even hearts together. He understood that his courage had unlocked something far greater than himself. He whispered softly, "We did it. We survived, and we changed this world from the edge of the forest." The villagers watched quietly, their anger replaced with awe and hesitation. They had expected fear and weakness, but instead they saw courage, hope, and something far beyond their understanding. Slowly, some stepped back into the forest, perhaps reconsidering their ways, perhaps ready to respect the creatures they once sought to harm. The ally looked at the human and nodded. "You have done more than save them. You have proven that one being can make a difference, even in a world full of danger, fear, and hatred. This is your reward." The human smiled, feeling a warmth he had never known, holding the puppies close. He realized that being a hero was not about glory or reward, but about protecting the innocent, trusting courage over fear, and standing up when it mattered most. As the alien moon reflected off the glowing river, the human felt the puppies stir. Softly, their eyes full of life and trust, he looked at the forest, the glowing trees, the crystals, and the distant village, and knew that though dangers might return, hope had taken root, courage had grown, and the world had changed forever. He whispered one last time to the puppies, "We are together now, and nothing can take that away." The puppies yipped softly, their tiny tails wagging, and the human felt the full weight of victory, not just for himself, but for all the innocent lives he had protected. And as the glowing forest shimmered in the night, he knew the journey had made him stronger.